Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Mike, and this is the Variety Show. And today we are over 100 subscribers special. Currently, we are sitting at 114 subscribers. So I want to thank y'all for all the support. In the comment section, leave a comment saying you've been here since the very beginning when the channel was called the M&D Variety Show. And also, I want to thank y'all for the Django video, the highest viewed video on the channel, and we're gonna do a Q&A for y'all today. Also, I'm gonna get talk about some new things that are coming onto the channel. I'm gonna start off with Trey. Trey, y'all know Trey, my uncle, been on a bunch of videos with me. The Lecrae video. He's gonna bring his very own segment on the channel. You want to talk about it real quick, Trey?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everyone that's subscribed, pushing it to 100, over 100, like Mikey said, looking to get to 200, 500 quickly. So thanks to everyone. But it's just one of my passions for my adult life has been history, and then just making sure that whatever happens in history, seeing the relevance of what happens today. So I'll be doing something called "There's Nothing New Under the Sun," just talking about things that's happened in the past that's also happening now. So we can always learn from history because really, I know most of us have heard that saying, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So just want to have a little segment where you'll hear me talking about some topics we see today, if it happened or when it happened in the past, and what can we learn to help our situation out.
Yep. And those videos are coming out real soon. It's actually probably we'll say next month. Sounds good.
So definitely, we're right around the corner from June anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put out that first video. So that's gonna be the name of the segment. There's nothing new under the sun. Also, um, really with this channel, I want to do more of a like a storytelling and also explaining things when it comes to movies and television and stuff like that. So first, I'm gonna start off with the MCU. Maybe I might do some Daredevil too, but the MCU is probably the most popular thing since pretty much it dominated the 2010s. So the MCU, I'm going to talk about the history of the MCU and also going to give a in-depth bio of each comic book character and how they changed from when they first got into the MCU and also now. Also, another thing I'm going to talk about with those videos, I'm going to talk about where was the Stones when you first saw the Stones and how did they end up where they at now. I'm also going to talk about that. And yeah, we're going to start off with this Q&A. And the first question, I got a question today. We're going to answer this question first. What books are you currently reading?
I'll go ahead and tackle it. Actually, I've been looking back at some of the books I've read in the past. It's been a while since I looked at them, and due to what's been happening, I've just been going back and reading some of the past books I had during my freshman and sophomore year at University of Detroit Mercy. So one of them is by a guy named Chancellor Williams called "The Destruction of Black Civilization from 4500 BC to 2000 AD." There was a part in that book that I remember, but I had to go back and refresh myself. So I've been looking at that the past few days.
All right. What about you, Dad? What book are you currently reading?
So I just picked up a couple, and I'm just finishing up "Who Moved My Cheese." It's pretty much like an investment book. How to really um, focus on long-term investments. How to really make money off of your investments, passive incomes, things of that nature. Also, how to outsmart the credit bureaus. Um, I think that's one of the things that, especially in our culture, that we really don't have the knowledge of finance and credit. So just always constantly reading and learning different ways and different techniques on how to improve my finances. So those pretty much been the books that I really been on lately. Just finance books, um, investment books, stock markets, things of that nature. Especially if you ain't really focusing on your finances, this pandemic should have make you really open up your eyes and realize that you need a second income. You can't rely on just one income.
Yeah. Um, well, I am reading something totally different. I picked up my very, very first comic book. This is my first comic book that I'm actually reading. I picked up the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Different. It's very different from the actual Infinity Wars and Endgame story so far. Like, for example, instead of the scene where you where the Hawk landed in Doctor Strange's house.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the comic books, it was actually the Silver Surfer that actually landed in the that he actually landed in the house. And also it's very, very different because a lot of the heroes that a lot of heroes died, like actually died in this one actual movie. So like everybody knows Black Panther died, died. Hawkeye died, also Wolverine in it, like Wolverine's works. And I would say it was very difficult. It's very difficult to read a comic read panel to panel. So yeah, I comic books are hard to read. Have y'all read any comics in your life?
yeah. I read comic books back in the day, probably around 12 and 13. No, my fault. Probably more like 9 or 10 years old. I read a few then. That was,
Okay.
a long time ago. But they was,
They
I mean,
must stay up.
it was entertaining to me though.
Yeah. Also, so here we go. We about to go ahead and answer some of these questions. We about to knock some of them out the park right now. We have a lot of questions right now. First, let's go with this one. If someone was writing a story about you, would you be the hero or the villain? For me, it depends on who's writing the story because um I know there's some people. It's always people that like you and people that don't like you. So yeah, that's my answer.
Uh, I mean, I guess for me it depends on what situation I'm in. Uh, sometimes the hero don't always be the best be the best person. You know, so based off whatever the situation is, um, I guess dictates whatever if I want to be the hero, if I want to be the villain. The villain, you get some excitement. You get to play the bad guy. But sometimes, saving or
What
being
about
just that good guy might come in handy too.
yeah? What about you, Trey?
Yeah, it's all about perception. Not just perception of who's writing the book, but then also perception of the person reading the book. Because kind of like what Devon said, actually I heard TD Jakes say this, where he said he's been around so long where there's a little bit of bad in the best person and a little bit of good in the worst person. So looking from that type of contextual situation, there's going to be some people that, oh man, he's a good guy. He's done this. Oh man, he's done this for my kid. I've grown up with them. They got great things to say, but other folks, they're not. They're going to be like, oh, he was this, that type of person, arrogant, this, that, and the third. Those are some of the things they may say. Because, I mean, that's a loaded question because if you're writing a book about me right now, if that was a question, it's going to be totally different than what type of things I was doing 20 years ago. So different people may read it and have different responses. And I think the biggest thing for me to say is I could be a hero and a villain in that story. I could. I could possess traits of both of them.
Sure. let this pandemic don't hurry up and get better. You gonna see a whole lot of villains out there in these streets, boy.
But we already seeing them, quote unquote. But really, for some of us, we call them heroes for what they're doing. Other folks seeing them as villains. So, hey.
Yeah. Here go the next question. This is actually one of the hardest questions ever. Like, I've been reading this question, and man. So first he said, congrats on over 100 subscribers. And then he said, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what three music albums would you bring?
Mm.
Man, um, one album I know for sure, I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring. I'm gonna bring Smokey. I mean, not Smokey. Temptation sing Smoke like the album that Temptations did. The one that Smokey wrote to have My Girl. It's growing, fading away since I lost my baby. I believe that's Smokey. The Temptations sing Smokey. That's the name of the album. Also, I want to bring a hip hop album in there. I'm gonna bring Me Against the World, and this is hard, man. Probably. Dang. I don't know. I don't know. What about y'all? Let me think of my third one.
I'm definitely bringing uh all eyes on. Um,
That's a good one.
I'm I'm gonna have to bring me a mix, like some type of gospel mix to trying to keep my faith up, being deserted on this island. Hopefully that I can get out safe. But I think for the pop, I have to get the pop because pop just gonna get you hyped and ready to ride for no reason. Then the third one, I might have to get some Marvin Gaye just to kind of mellow me out. You know what I'm saying? Put me on chill mode.
All right.
So they just said album, so I'm gonna actually cheat on them, and I'm gonna get some two greatest hits albums. So I'm actually able to access music from different albums of these artists. I'm gonna
Greatest
have
hits.
to. How they didn't say it?
All right, go ahead. I
But
thought it was doing albums, but if we doing greatest hits, I'm going to change mine then.
well, I'll satisfy both of your needs. So if you just doing albums, for me, it got to be something I can listen to from start to finish. Every one of the songs is something that I like. I'm deserted on the island, so I don't really have time to be skipping around. Some of my favorite albums, or some of my favorite artists have albums I still would listen to maybe 80 or 90%. I need something I can listen to everything. So you already know one I'm going to have to be off the wall for me, Mikey. It's going to have to be because that's one of the albums I can listen to from start to finish. The next one is a hip hop album where, man, I wish this guy would not have been injured in a car accident because he was probably one of the greatest lyricists of all time. And this album right here edges out Ice Cube's first album, America's Most Wanted, but I would go to DOC, No One Can Do It Better, because that's one of my favorite albums of all time as well. And then the third album, I'm sitting up here like I got to get something from the 70s. I have to, because that was just one of my favorite eras of music. And just thinking about from the 70s, I'm going to actually go with that What's Going On Marvin Gaye album. That's one of my favorites right there. So that would be the three I'd go with.
Okay, good one. All right, I'm still got to think of a third one. I'm surprised, Trey, you didn't throw no Trip Lee in there, man. I know you're a fan of him.
You know I'm full with Trip Lee, man. You know I'm full with Trip Lee.
No Anomaly?
Anomaly's good. Anomaly's good, but I'm talking about for me, if I'm listening to your album now and I listened to it over 20 years ago and I still get that same feeling and it's still just that same level of musical genius to me. I'm just talking about for me. I respect what everybody listens to, but for me, those albums I named still give me that same feeling from way back in the day, from the first time I heard them.
Okay. All right. I decided my last album would be I'm gonna go with Empire, the Derek Minor album. I'm gonna go with that one. Skip
Okay.
it. Let me go with something new. Like that's been my favorite album since like 2014. All right. So the next question we got: What are some movies that are considered bad but you like? Forbidden Kingdom, Freddy versus Jason, The Spy Next Door, any Jackie Chan movie for real. Like when he started making movies for little kids.
Oh man. So what's your three?
Nah, I'm just naming some bad movies. Like I could watch like Freddy versus Jason. It wasn't like it wasn't bad. It's the problem with Freddy versus Jason is that like your expectations were so high that the movie didn't meet those expectations. But like from a when you looking at it from like a movie standpoint, from like the directors and all the writers, I really don't know how like the way they wrote Freddy and Jason to me, I really don't know no other way to do it, and I think that's the best way to do it. The main reason why it's considered a bad movie is just the supporting characters that surrounding Freddy versus Freddy and Jason. They're condescending. They're like stuck up. And then you got not Kerry Washington, Kelly Rowland. What kind of faggot walks around in a Christmas sweater? It like, and plus the soundtrack doesn't age well. Those are her words, not mine. Those that's the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack is just outdated. It's just a bunch of 2000 stars that nobody hears about them. Like people say Kelly Rowland really isn't relevant anymore. So is she? I might be wrong. Is she?
Depends on what generation you're talking about. It's
No,
not
I'm
like
talking
she
about
out here making.
2020. It's 2020, even 2019. When was the last time Kelly Rowland been relevant?
Once again, I mean,
Man,
I still see her on social media. I saw she has some. I don't know if it was a clothing line, fragrance, something that she just launched, and I saw her advertising, and she still got a nice following on social media. It ain't like she got 1,000 or nothing like that. So that's why I said it just kind of depends on what uh what generation you're talking about. She definitely ain't. She don't have the same appeal Beyonce do. I mean, Beyonce get to make a song with Megan Thee Stallion, so that lets you know she pulling from multiple generations. Kelly ain't on that level.
nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as an artist, you still gotta give her the respect, though. You
Oh,
know.
I respect her, but I'm just saying she's not relevant anymore. Like her era is over.
Well, that's what I mean by it depends because you gotta realize. I think if I don't even know if they 40, they may be getting close to turning 40. They still kind of relatively young, and that generation isn't the generation of popular hip hop or popular music at all. But she still has a following. She still is a part of one of the greatest girl groups, whether we like it or not, that ever existed. As Destiny's Child. They had their run. Then she had her own little, solo career. So she still has a following due to the group she was in. For that
Yeah.
group, I guarantee if her, Beyonce, Michelle, I forgot the other ones, like, let's go on tour, they're gonna sell out. There's gonna still be a large amount of people that will come. I'm not saying they're gonna pack out 100,000 people, but they will get thousands and thousands of people to come and watch them.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
So
Any bad
for
movies
that
that
group, go ahead. Oh, bad movies?
yeah, that
Oh
y'all
man, I'm gonna say this, and y'all please chime in. When they say bad, are we talking about the standards of our average movie critic, your Rotten Tomatoes? You understand that type of review, or are we talking about within our own cultural context?
both like pretty like I don't really follow Rotten Tomatoes because they
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what's wrong with them. They rank good movies low, like especially horror movies. They rank them really low because it's horror. Horror is considered low brow. But yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is like they. I don't really trust right. Like if a movie says because they rate good movies. Like Logan got like a 40%, I think. That's horrible, man. Logan was a good movie.
So, with that being the case, it's not like if you're looking at it from a cinematic point of view, they've liked or said that any of the Fridays have been quality.
The
That's
first
simply
one was.
well. No,
I'll say the
I'm not talking about our perspective. I'm talking about. That's why I asked you if you're talking about from a cinematic point of view. Because I read the reviews and this wasn't the best movie. It was low budget. It was funny, but it wasn't like it was the best plot or blah blah. I've read it. It was funny, but they're saying it wasn't good. And I believe it was part of what happened with that Black AF that came on Netflix, where we don't want to beat up on the black movie like that, so we'll say it was funny, but we really think it was garbage. That's personally what I think.
okay.
That's personally what I think. But for me, I've always liked the Fridays. I mean, for me, the first and the last one was the best ones in my opinion. And then I haven't read it, but I know some of those movies in the '80s, some of those little iconic movies in the '80s didn't get the best reviews.
Yeah.
Uh, one that I like, I was just a kid. It was funny. I know George Lucas put money behind it, but if he had to do it over again, he'd probably be like, man, why in the world did I do that? It was a movie called Howard the Duck. I was actually showing the kids that the other day. Bad movie. George Lucas, I think he produced it, and it was just one of those space science fiction movies from '88, but it wasn't a good movie. It was not a good movie. You got a
Uh,
duck that got pulled through almost like a time, almost like a black hole or a time warp, and then some dark overlords or something that's supposed to came down. It was just horrible. I was laughing how bad it was when I watched it again.
yeah.
So for me, it'd be white chicks.
I was just
Um,
about to talk about that. I was just about to talk about that.
like white chicks. I mean, it's terrible, man. But when it
It's
come on TV, I still like turn into it just to watch a little bit and then click off. Second would be for me. Don't be a menace while drinking your juice.
One of my favorites.
Uh,
I actually like that
yeah,
movie. I actually like that
but
movie.
I mean,
It was stupid though.
yeah. And then I was a fan of the first one, but then the second one came out. It wasn't like, uh, and that was Speed too.
Oh, see, I've never seen Speed 2. I may have to watch it just on the humble now.
Yeah, Speed, like the first version, like I was all into the movie. I thought it was a real good movie, good action and stuff. But so I don't know. But those would be my three.
All right.
And I had to push, and I had to really think, cause I ain't no movie type guy.
Yeah.
So like I really had to like wreck my brain, like what movies. So I should get an A for that one, man.
I was gonna throw Little Man in it because I like that movie, but it was dumb. Little Man was dumb. And pretty much most of the Wayans brothers movies were dumb, but we love them.
Hey,
Because
them the boys.
once again, I got to go cultural with it. There's certain cultural aspects of those movies that we identify with that, from a cinematic point of view, may be trash, but I'm surprised we haven't said any Tyler Perry movie because he gets the biggest flack for having quote unquote garbage movies.
Talking about
But
Tyler Perry.
no, I'm saying he gets the most flack for it, but he's had movies that we watch.
Hey,
For
Trey,
real.
Only
we
Tyler Perry movie I was Daddy's Little Girl and Why Did I Get Married. The rest I
Trey,
don't about Medea.
I'll tell you this, Trey.
Hmm.
If Nick got any lady subscribers, they coming for your head right now. Cause you know them ladies, they love them some Tyler Perry movies, boy.
I'm being objective
Hey,
about it. I'm being objective. See, I said I watched them. I just watched the last one that he had. I'm gonna watch him because I'm gonna support a brother anyway. He really holds the biggest chip for us in the African American community as far as controlling our media. He got his own soundstage. So hey, I got nothing but love for him. But he has like, in my opinion, I don't have a problem with any of the ones you just named, Mikey. The only ones for me that I was just like, this is totally, absolutely horrible was that, what was it, Boo 1 and 2, the Halloween
Oh
movie?
my God.
Absolutely trash. But the other ones, culturally, I can identify with, so I could tolerate them. I could. I
yeah,
don't have no problem with them. But that
yeah,
Halloween stuff he did, Boo 1 and 2, that was absolutely horrible.
yeah. I
Man.
can't lie. If I was Tyler Perry, I'd probably be. Hey, I'll probably do the same thing. Bash all you fellas and make myself look like I'm the hero. Like, look, baby, ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, you know, Tyler
All
Perry.
black
You know,
men
I'm
are
that
bad.
dude.
I'm a good one. I'm the only good one. You notice that's how he write himself in every movie. Every black guy is bad, but I'm the only good one. Come on, bro.
Hey, he once again, what does he do? He controls the narrative because I mean, it's his soundstage. He's writing this, he's producing this. Some of the stuff he's directing. So hey, that's his right.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, I'll be a
You got
fool to
to
say that I'm the bad guy.
let's look at it for what it's worth. I was just watching, not to deviate. I was just watching a movie called Snowpiercer with Chris Evans in it. Captain America. It came out a few years ago. Long story short, he really was on some foul stuff with what he did. Some old barbaric, cannibalistic type hookup, but they spun it in the movie to where he still ended up looking like the hero. So
Mm.
I don't think he'll ever get a role or he'll ever play a role where he's viewed as a villain. So it's really no different than what Tyler Perry doing.
Yeah.
Shout
Look at
out to Atlanta, man. Shout out to Atlanta.
for real.
Yeah.
Hey, like I said, no, I got love for him, man, because hey, he got a sound stage. He got a sound stage. He could, he could. If I'm correct, he can distribute. He can produce, manufacture, distribute, all of that. Hey, that's major.
Yep, Hollywood in the A.
Yep, for the culture.
All right. We about to take a break with the questions. Dad, you about to start your own business, man. You want to talk about it?
Uh, just a little, I won't call it a side hustle, but anything that I start doing, I always give it my all. So, I'm about to start doing fragrances. Actually, I just bought the name Intimate Aromas, and so pretty much all your designer wear, your Gucci, your Prada, your Bond number 9, your Creed, um, you name it. I should be having it. I'm actually working on the website, getting that together, and I can have whatever you need on the website, have it delivered to your home. So it's not like, hey, can I get X, Y, Z? And then I say, all right, meet me over at this place. Nah, strictly professional. Um, no hand contact. It's just you go in there. You pick whatever fragrance you want, get shit to your home, and enjoy. You know, I'm a big fan of fragrances anyway. So why not do something that I like to do anyway? Like I'm always at Nordstrom's, Macy's, picking up some colognes or some perfumes and things of that nature. So why not incorporate what I love, and share it with everybody else? Because a lot of people they don't have the knowledge of fragrance. What type of cologne is this? What the actual fragrance does to them. what type of reaction the fragrance get. So but more to come on that. Be on the lookout for it. So you always got to find ways to have a passive income. If you don't know what passive income is, that's making money while you sleep. You know, like I said in the beginning, don't just rely on the one set of income. Try to get multiple incomes that's coming in. So
Yeah, it
Okay.
said that.
Okay, so that's fragrance aroma, right?
no, it's intimate
Intimate,
aroma.
Oh, intimate,
intimate
intimate
aroma.
aroma. My bad. Intimate aroma. All that will be
Yeah.
down in the link in the description. Do you have any idea when the website and everything is going to be ready?
Um, I'm constantly working on it, just trying to get everything finalized, making sure that when you go into the site, you're able to navigate. So doing all this on my own. So it'll definitely be up, and then I wouldn't even mind throwing in a prize or two on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Just to show some love to the subscribers.
Okay. So yeah, guys, intimate aromas coming soon to a
Uh,
website near you. I guess that works. All right, y'all ready to tackle some of these questions?
yeah.
Yup.
All right, we got. All right, someone asked if you can only have five movies, what would they be? What would they be?
Dang, what's
Um,
up with the movie questions, man? Y'all be
man,
doing it.
I mean,
Y'all be
hey,
watching
hey,
movies like that, man.
you got to figure that. But for this channel, he do a lot of movie reviews. So
Man,
I'm
dang.
figuring a lot. If he got 114 followers, I'm pretty sure at least 75, 80 of them are hardcore movie people.
it's either that or that a lot of we got some relationship
Like,
questions next too, man. Like I don't think
Hey,
I'm the best person for relationship advice, but we're gonna get to those eventually, like in this video.
so
So
five movies.
yeah, you want me to go first? Because I can
No,
knock mine
repeat
out the
repeat the
park.
question. Repeat the
If you
question
can
again.
only pretty much if you can only watch five movies, what what what
Okay.
what are those five movies?
All right, but
You want me to go first or
I'll break it off. Just to get mine. I know y'all gonna be drawn out with y'all stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you five quick ones. You know what I'm saying? Give you five hot ones real quick.
Temptations
So
better
I'm
be on your list, man.
nah, cause I'm gonna let I ain't gonna throw your standard. So I'm gonna pass that on to you. So I'm gonna go with Scarface.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Godfather.
Okay.
Uh, I'm gonna go with cancel this. Buy me another one. Trey, what I'm talking about, man?
ain't nothing but that New Jack City right there.
New Jack City.
That's New Jack
There it
City.
is.
Nino
That's
Brown.
three for you. So four. Man, I'm trying to get there, y'all.
You almost
Jason
there.
lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Jason lyrics. Five. I owe y'all one more. One more. Uh, I'm trying to think of something that neither one of y'all gonna say. I'm gonna go with above the rim. That's my
Oh,
five. I'm sticking with that five,
Currently
and
on
I'm
Netflix.
done with that topic.
no, did you say the butter rim? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to go, Trey, or you want to go?
You the movie man, so you need to go last. I'll go ahead and go. My
Okay.
my top five. It said five movies that you gotta have, right? What was the
Yep.
question?
Yep.
So mine's may be a little bit all over the spectrum, but in no particular order. The top five would be Ocean's 11. That's one of my favorites right there. Ocean's 11. And I'm not talking about the one with the Rat Pack. I'm talking about the one with Clooney and Pitt and Bernie Mac and all of them. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Um, Glory with Denzel and Morgan Freeman. Uh, Gotta Get Heat in there with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. And then
Classic.
for my fifth one, I was just sitting back thinking, what's that last movie for me? I'm gonna have to go to one that, even though I know what's gonna happen, the movie, oh man, the twist at the end is one of the best I ever seen. And I just gotta go with the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world it didn't exist. My man Kaiser Soul saying Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty good one. I'm glad nobody didn't put Soul Plane on there.
Man, that's one of them horrible movies, man. But keep going, man.
Hey, I just watched that joint the other day though.
Oh
It
man.
was on one of the
Oh
little free
man,
joints.
dang.
I'm surprised you didn't say Shada, man. Shada was pretty good.
Which
Them
one?
gangster movie. Shada, the little Jamaican joint.
Yeah, but for me, I could have put more historical movies on there. Glory is the one to do it for me. I like my mix of historical movies and thrillers. That's really me. I'm not a big horror guy. That's why Usual Suspects was big, and then Heat was just a great movie. Man, that's just one of the best I've ever seen.
Mm.
Okay,
You got
my
me.
list first. I'm gonna go with the Temptation. My list is not in order, but Temptations definitely gotta be on that list.
How many
Um,
Marvel movies you think you gonna pick, Trey?
What type of movies?
How
Horror?
many Marvel movies you think you gonna pick?
It's
look,
at least three.
put
It's at
one
least
on.
three,
Put one
if
on there.
not four.
I'm only
Between
putting,
Marvel and horror. All right, go ahead, Mick.
I'm only
Lay it
putting one
out for us.
one Marvel movie on here,
All
and
right.
that's I'm going. I gotta go with Logan, man. I think Logan is, man. Even though I was thinking about Civil War, but something about Logan, man. I love Logan. Endgame is definitely not gonna make it to the list. It was my top 10 of 2019.
See, Facebook,
However,
we already at three of those. I told you we was.
no,
I
they not
already
on my
told you.
list. They not on my list.
Hey,
They not on
they
my
didn't
list.
make. Hey, they didn't make the list, but I knew several of the Marvel joints was gonna come out of his mouth.
So
So you got Logan and what was that first one?
Logan, The Temptations.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna go with Rush Hour 3. I love that movie. I'm at 3. I want to put a martial art movie in there.
Mhm.
So he going with his other boy, the other Asian guy,
Uh,
the Jet Li guy. He going with Jet
yeah.
Li next.
Going with, I'm not going. I
Huh?
already got Jackie. I'm gonna go with Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. I love that movie.
Facebook, he switched it up because I called him out because he was gonna say some Jet Li stuff. But go ahead, Nick.
But if I would put a Jet Li movie on there, like I
Romeo
don't,
Must Die.
nah, man, I would not put that movie on. Guns, I ain't gonna put that movie on there. All right, and I have to put a horror movie on there. Horror movie I'm gonna put on there is Hell House LLC.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my top. That's my 5, and yeah, that's just 5 random movies. I'm not gonna go in to put like greatest movies on all time. Those are just fun movies that I like.
All
All
right,
right,
bet.
Okay.
all right. Someone next. What fictional character scares you the most? Um, when I was a kid, it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, man.
Okay.
All them joints, man. I just don't do horror, man. I can't do it. I never been a big fan of it. Like I don't like the concept of you trying to scare me. So like I don't even pay those type of movies any attention. So sorry YouTube, I'm gonna have to pass on this question because
Trey,
I don't do them
Trey,
type of movies.
Trey.
Hey, we gotta respect that. You gotta respect it. I I'm not big on horror movies. I've watched them. They're definitely not the first genre of movies that you know what I'm saying. I would want to watch. But for me, it was not even from childhood. It wasn't even Jason. My man from Jigsaw. My man wasn't right. Something was. He was totally out of his mind throughout that entire series of Saw movies.
Yeah,
He wasn't right.
I
Ain't right.
I low key thought you was gonna say all the white people from Get Out.
Oh no, man. Get Out to me really don't even. I can't really consider that a horror movie. I know it's supposed to be, but that was more of a thrill. What do you call it? A thriller that just kind of dibbled and dabbled in the horror. It wasn't really like that.
Hey, but
Man,
hey, if I was in that, hey man, that make when I saw that movie, that makes me not want to date a white woman, man.
hey, I never forget. I was at the drive-in Ford in Wyoming, right?
Okay.
And I think it's the movie. I think it's called Ring or something like that.
The Ring. Yeah.
Yeah, is that where the little person
Yeah.
find the
Yeah,
telephone and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Come through TV the whole
Man,
nine. Yeah.
I'm good.
I tell you this, man. I can't remember how much I paid for the drive-in that night, but shoot, all that money got wasted, and I couldn't even have no fun in the drive-in because I
Oh
was bored,
man.
dude. Hey, look, hey, I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. We gotta go. We gotta go. Like,
Oh man. You
then
said
my cell phone, then my cell phone was ringing and stuff. I said, no, we gotta go. We gotta go right now. So, nah, man, I can't do them, man. I
I'm,
commend you, brothers, man.
I think for me, unless you're dealing with what's my man's name, Stephen King, and it's been a few others, but a lot of horror movies are just really horribly written. It's just nothing but a bloodbath. It's just a bunch of senseless killings. Now, your man Stephen King could write a story. Carrie is one of them type movies that was okay. That was a great movie. He's done a lot, but most Mikey, you got to be honest. It's a lot of horror movies that's just they end up with a bloodbath. That's
I
all it is.
agree. However, horror has gotten better. I'll say within the last couple of years, horror has gotten better with movies like Hereditary. Um, what else? Get Out. Also, Parasite.
And
Movies like that.
what I'm gonna say is, and definitely speak on this. I think it's been a conglomeration or a mixture of a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of thriller, and horror that's coming out in more movies now. And of course, the quality of the movies and the writing is better, but they're not just the all and out bloodbath like what we used to see with Friday the 13th. Because I mean, Jason would just go through Camp Crystal Lake, killing everything that moved. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just they're getting away from that and giving you more of a plot.
Well, those are considered slasher films. Slashers is not for everybody. There's different subgenres in horror. Slashers, that's your Jasons, Freddy's. You
Yeah,
got your haunts, which are your Insidious and stuff like that. You have your found footage movies, which is Blair Witch, Paranormal Activities. You got your torture porn, which is Saw,
torture
Human
porn.
Centipede. Yeah,
Hold on,
that's
man.
what they
Time out, man. Time out. Did
calling
you
it.
say torture porn?
That's what they calling it. Yes.
Man, come on, man.
We gonna
Come on, man. Torture porn. But go ahead.
yeah, that torture porn became popular around the early 2000s. And that's something me and you gonna talk about when we start talking about when we finish talking about the history of film and how has film changed over time. We're gonna talk about all that. So stay tuned. We're gonna put that pretty much part two of that will come out next week, not next week, next month. We're gonna do more of that too with me, Trey, and Deuce. Also, I'm gonna bring back the history of pro wrestling. I know I've been slacks. Procrastinating on that one. But yeah, next question. This is a well, it's not a dumb question, but what is the worst thing your parents caught you doing? Um, I know, I haven't really got caught doing something that was like caught in the act. I never got caught in the act doing something. What
Yeah,
about
I have
y'all?
to. Yeah, I had to say the same thing. Like, probably the thing that I done got caught doing, probably peeing on the side of the house or something. Like, like when you outside having fun, you know what I'm saying, don't want to go inside the house, or your parents tripping because you keep going in and out. So, shoot, I just take a piss on the side of the house and, boy, what you doing?
Yeah.
But other than that, nah.
I got caught up. I got caught up trying to change. Y'all call it citizenship up here, but in Georgia they call it a conduct grade. I got caught up. I got caught trying to change one on a report card. So,
Mm. How did you get caught?
well, I was the only kid. They used to laugh at me like I had all A's, but I was just a terror in the classroom. So I was trying to change an F to a B. I got to the crib. I'm like, maybe they won't whoop me. Yeah, I'm gonna get a whooping. I got an F in conduct, which is, I guess, like a 5 now for citizenship. So I'm like, I'm ready to get it. My brother was like, man, you can't show them that with an F. So I tried. Pops came in. I think Pops came in. Or what happened? Oh, I still had the pencil, and they could look at it and tell it wasn't right. So it wasn't like they caught me right in the act, but I got caught trying to change the citizenship grade or conduct grade, as we called it, from a F to a B. I
Mm.
forgot what grade. I think it was third or fourth. I want to say third. I think it was third grade.
Mm.
That's about it. Other than that, I ain't get caught in the act of nothing crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But,
sure
but,
they
uh,
would.
but I do
Uh,
have siblings. But I do have siblings that did. So
yeah, I do too. I'm pretty sure they thought we was like caught having sex or caught watching porn, something like that, something crazy like that. But yeah, all right, y'all ready to tackle these Wait, we got one more question that's not a relationship question. If you can sit down and have dinner and talk with anybody dead or alive, who would it be? P.S. Glad you have over 100 subscribers.
For me, um, probably my old dude and my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Just because my father died when I was like 18, so my father never got a chance to see my adult life. So just to kick it with him and be like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I became. Yada yada yada. And pretty much the same with my grandma as well. She was sick. Even though I had started off my career and it was going, but
hmm
she still ain't seen where I am now. So probably those two, just chalk it up. Both of them genuine people. You know, gonna give you advice and stuff like on this end and then that end. So those would be the two people that I like to chalk it up with.
that's crazy. Your grandmama was a good person, man. I only knew her for a few years, better for about 2 years. Before she passed away. But I would sit down and kick it with her. I
Mm.
like talking to the elders anyway, but she was a genuine person. Like you said, she would just put you up on game on different things. And she just wasn't judgmental. She just talked. She had a great spirit about her. And,
Yeah.
just like you said, I wish she would have been able to see me and your to get married, because that's one
Right.
thing she had talked about. But definitely, I feel you on that. For me, it's a little different. My father's still alive. I'm fortunate. He ready to turn 77 in about a month. So I'm fortunate for that. But for me, I think, especially I know I told Mikey, finding out that Malcolm X is actually in the family. It's something about I'd love to sit down and just talk with him, see where his mind was at, especially right before he passed away, because I think he was opening himself up to a worldview more than just us. He cared about us like I do, but I think he was trying to get humanity right. And just knowing, man, what was in his mind, and just finding out what was his concepts, and all of his thoughts on humanity, civil rights, and where we could go as a people, man. And they're just finding out from him what he knew about our ancestors, man. Because he
Now
a
you
little
said he
bit,
was part of your family?
yeah. So on my mother's side, all right. So there's a guy named Ajar Haja who came over from the Bambara people from what's now present day Mali. He came over in 1770. He was an ancestor of mine. He had a son named Tony Little. Tony Little, Ajar Haja went to North Carolina, then he disappeared and probably, passed away. Tony Little was his son. Tony got moved down to GA. Tony had about 15 kids. So this is where it gets interesting. One of Tony's kids was a lady named Betty Little. Betty Little had a brother. Betty Little's brother was Malcolm X's grandfather. Betty Little was my mama's grandmama. So as she was born in 1855, my mama met her because she died in 1956. So I did the research. I ain't say nothing to nobody because I don't like putting stuff out there and sounding crazy. But I did the research, bought the book as well, and come to find out he's actually related to me. He's a distant relative of me. We both come from that little line, which comes from Ajar Haja. I'm fortunate enough to know one of the ancestors that came straight from the motherland. And the crazy thing, I'll leave you with this, that is crazy. My grandfather, on my maternal grandfather, passes away in January of 2001. He's Chicago all day and night. We go to Chicago, go to the funeral. I meet a guy named Oscar Little, one of the Littles. He tells me, "Oh man, Betty Shabazz came to one of our family reunions." I'm like, "Yeah, right, N-word." I'm like, "Man, you must be talking crazy." Come to find out, he's the one that does all the research, gets it published. They got a book. And I said, "Man, I had the dude that did all the research. I could have built with him back in 2001. I really ain't know." But yeah, Malcolm X was on my mom's side. Real small world. And I'm sitting there, like I said, I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm studying for about a good month. I'm like, nah, this verified, man. I'm like, so Malcolm X, grandfather, and my mom's grandmother were siblings.
That's dope.
Yeah. But for me, it'd be X.
What about you?
For me, it would definitely be great granny. I do miss her. I miss like sitting down and watching Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. You know, all the stuff that she used to watch. Also, I do would like to meet my grandfather, your dad. Never met him before. Be cool to meet him, sit down, have a conversation. Celebrity or just someone in history. I don't really know. I really don't know. I really don't know. Like someone in history. That's something I really, really have to think about.
I'll tell y'all this, and this ain't a plug for them. Believe it or not, Ancestry.com is a good way to go, and I'll tell you why. They'll give you a week's subscription for free, and you just need to get down and dirty during that week. But believe it or not, most of us think that there's not much information on us due to the fact, now you guys are a tad bit better because you have that Bayesian, that Barbados link to you guys on your mother's side. But Ancestry will let you know because the United States has kept very good census records for about 140 years. And even the ancestors, because, slavery was over with in 1865. So that 1870 census will have black people's names on it. I'd have found census all the way up to 1840s with black people's name on it. So all you need to do is like find out some stuff about, especially on your father's side. Hey, talk to someone that some family that may still be alive. What's the great grandparents' name? Where were they from? Hey, I done went back to 1825 on my dad's side, and of course 1770 on my mom's side. So it's some information out there. I ain't even trying to plug them because I'd rather they give us some money. But for real, if you get to digging and looking in the archives, especially for death certificates and census records, you'll be all right.
Okay, that might be something fun me and Granny can do,
Mm-hmm.
or have her yell at me over the computer again. All right, y'all, y'all ready to knock out some of these relationship questions?
Let's
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
All right, I'm about to read the first one. What part did you play in any failed relationship that you had, and what would you change? Lack of communication, I guess.
Okay.
For me, the
Or not,
role that I played, huh?
or not being in a relationship in the first place, man.
You say repeat the question one more time for me so I can understand this a little bit better.
All right, what part did you play in any failed relationship, and what would you change?
Uh, I would say for me, um, it would be more so being more like goal oriented. Like I know where I want to be, and I know what I want to do, and I know this is what I need to do to get there and accomplish that. So I'm not really looking for any sidetrack or discouragements or not even being on the same page as me on getting to this goal because I know the goal right here is where I need to be. So uh so not falling into or sometimes I could be stubborn. Like for me, I know what I want. And if it's out of that, I disagree with it 110% of the time. Like, and I'm very strong on no, that's not right. I ain't feeling it, and I don't care how much you try to persuade me. It's always gonna be no. So not having that give in, especially when I know this is what I'm trying to accomplish or my vision, and would I change anything? Nope, not at all.
All right, what about you, Phil?
I think for me at that time, for that situation, just not being true to myself, trying to put a square in a or trying to put a circle into a square hole. It just wasn't working. I wasn't being authentic to myself. So if there's anything, it was just I've learned to do that now. You got to be authentic. You can't try to make something work, and that's what I was guilty of doing. So I wasn't being, I would say, authentic 100%. What I was doing was something trying to somewhat compromise and try to make something happen for a different purpose, and it just don't work. You got to be who you are. If you're true to yourself and you're able to communicate that to someone, they have a decision of if they can accept that or reject that. So, I mean, in the end, that's what's going to happen anyway. So, I would definitely say not being authentic enough.
Yeah, and I didn't see this question, so this is another question that's not relationship. Would you rather correct a mistake from the past or receive a message from the future? I rather correct the mistake from the past. That's just me.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a hard one. I saw that one. Go ahead, Devon.
Hey, boy, I love how you just threw that one on my. Hey, you just say, hey, I'm
I,
still trying to get my thought.
hey,
Hey,
I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm gonna
changes,
let you.
hey, changes got us in a murder crime and just passed me the gun. Like, here you go. Take
Toss
all
it on
these
your laptop.
papers. You see how
Hey,
Trey knows how to do me now? Wow, damn.
I'll go ahead. For me, Mikey, we talked about this. We've all talked about this. I would be fearful to go back to the past and change something because I have no idea what direction it could send me on. It could be something that's changed for the better at that time that could end up leading to a demise 5 years later.
You're
I'm
right.
I'm a, I'm a little hesitant to touch the past. So just give
You're
me
right.
some about the future
You're
so I can
right.
control.
I haven't even put the laws of time travel in it.
Yeah, I'm like, for example, let me go back and change something with dealing with a person. I may not never meet y'all. I may not know who y'all are.
Right.
Your
I
niece,
dig
Yeah.
that. I dig that.
your cousin, your niece and your cousin and Drew wouldn't be there. Anaya would never know me. So these are things that I don't know about dealing with the past. The past is the past. If you could tell me about the future, then I could do what I need to do now so that things line up right, or I can avoid that
That
mistake in the future.
that make your decision real good, man. You might wipe me out the wipe me out of
Nah,
history, man.
nah, man. I'm going with the future, boy. Uh,
I am
uh,
too.
yeah, I'm going with the future. Like, I mean, the past is the past. You learn from it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You move on. But if somebody got some tips, some tricks for me in the future, it's all good. But that past, I don't even want to go back into the past.
no, uh-uh.
Let that
It,
joker
it,
be in the past.
I just believe you leave that alone because
Matter of fact, go ahead, sir.
all I was gonna say was I believe it helps build you into the person that you are. I'm just looking at it again from this perspective. You know how people can get too cocky in a situation, things are going well, and you feeling this way, and you don't have anything to try you or to make you look at things different, and then a horrific situation come and they never recover from it. Maybe some of the mistakes and things we encounter strengthens you to become a better person. That's just my
Right,
perspective. I don't want to go back and change nothing that instead of making it to this age I am now, I'm gone 6 years ago because I was that arrogant or that pompous or didn't have anything to weigh how to deal with adversity on. You just never know. It's a fragile situation as it is when it comes to life. I ain't changing nothing in the past. I just don't want to.
Yeah, if it was no effects, I would go to the past, but since we put the laws of time travel in, I'm going to the future too. Back to the future we go.
Hey, you remember that part in the Curious Life of Benjamin Button
Yeah,
where
which
she
one?
went back to get her keys and he just broke down how it led to the accident?
Yep.
One change in the past can wipe out situations and things will be totally different than how we know it.
The
So,
butterfly effect. It's
yep,
the butterfly effect. That
yep.
goes back to another video me and you supposed to do, like talking about time travel.
I'm waiting on that one.
Yeah,
I'm still researching, so you know we're doing that one.
yeah, I am too, man. It's a whole bunch of other stuff, and now Avengers Endgame has added to the time travel. And we also gonna talk about, and even in like when we talk about movies, we even gonna talk about like why it's hard to write time travel in movies. Why it's hard to write time travel and have it make sense. All right, ready? All right, y'all ready for the next relationship advice?
yeah.
You better come up on that crazy question. Go ahead. You're getting close to it.
Wait, which crazy question
You don't know when you ask it.
is it? This in a relationship, what makes a girl stay happy and how long and how to last long? Is that one? Is that the
Nah,
crazy one?
nah, 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 nah.
Okay.
It definitely came from a younger viewer who hormones are raging. But keep going.
All right, we're gonna answer that one though.
Right. So what was
So
the
what?
question?
Yeah.
In a relationship, what makes a girl stay happy, and how to last long in a relationship? Pretty much, I think that's what he's kind of what he made. Um,
You talking about last long what in a relationship or last long something else?
oh,
He did clarify.
well, I'm assuming he's talking about a relationship, man.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that is part of the relationship, though. You got to clarify.
I guess, man. We're not gonna turn this into a sex ed.
Hey, I mean, just how it was worded, I was just trying to make sure I understood the question.
If that's the case, think about dead puppies. I don't know.
All right, so to make the like a woman would say, she a woman always want to be right, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to listen. You have to be very good at listening. Like, or if you're not very good at listening, be very good of acting like you're listening. Because
Proof.
like
Can backfire on you though.
no, I mean no, like real spit. Like if you listen, it makes everything a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes them think that you're engaged on what they're trying to say. And I think that's majority of the battle that you have to, go through. Because we all know that we don't really like doing stuff that women enjoy doing. I'm not a mall type of guy, but I know if I want a peaceful day, then I'm gonna go ahead and go to the mall and just be miserable. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can have a peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? So like, just listen. And if you don't listen, act like you listening. You know what I'm saying? That
I hear you 100%.
I think that goes a long ways. And then like second, it has to be like having that give and take. You know what I'm saying? You give a little bit, you take a little bit, but I think when it comes to where you always giving and you giving too much, then it's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? That shows a sign of weakness and possibly you get run over. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to say no. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to tell your woman yes all the time. It's okay to say no. Nah, we ain't doing that. I'm sorry. No. You know what I'm saying? Let her know that you're in control. You know what I'm saying? But you give a little bit, but you ain't gonna be keep giving all the time and being railed over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yo, cut off your camera.
Say what?
Cut your camera off, man.
Two camera.
My, he left. All right, Trey. It's just me and you right now. We gonna keep going. I'm gonna. Oh, he back in. What happened, man?
Hey, I accidentally put my camera on and then now I'm trying to cut the joint off.
Trey, can you believe the professionalism of this guy?
Hey, he on point. He on point.
All right. All right, we still live. We gonna keep going. All right. To me, I agree with you, Dad. Listening, cause sometimes listening, you might get some cool points for that. Like, let's say, she talk about something, and then one day, like in the future, you just bring it up. You bring it up. Oh, you like this because I remember you told me back then like that. And she like, oh, you listen, stuff like that. Also communication again. And first, it like I don't know if you can keep her happy. I don't believe in constant happiness, man. Like, you gotta have low points to make them high points high. So yeah, you're gonna have your ups and downs. What about you, Trey?
That's a very loaded question. Um, kind of a lot of levels to it. It's multi-layered. But read the part to me again. I want to make sure I understand it. I know they talked about happiness and what's the other thing they talked about.
Yeah, in the relationship, what makes a girl stay happy and how to last long in the relationship?
Uh, in order, I'll talk about longevity first. In order for that relationship to have some longevity, there has to be some common goals that both people want to work towards.
Agreed.
You can have your separate goals, and you're supposed to because you're still an individual. You're a separate entity, but it has to be something in common that you two work towards. I'm taking that from personal experience as far as watching my parents who've been married for 56 years, long time. They've been together. Yeah, my fault is. Yeah, it's 56. It's going on 57 this year. They had a common goal. They had something that they've shared together that's kept that was the nucleus of their marriage that kept them together all these years. As a matter of fact, they showed me their wedding picture. All the groomsmen, all the bridesmaids have been divorced. They're the only two still married. But I think a lot of it had to do with they had a common goal. That's what I think is kind of the key to the longevity part. The happiness part, I'm gonna go right to what Devon said, even something you said, Mikey. I'm not saying that women are unstable, but genetically they are a tad bit more emotional than most men. There is no 100% all women are more emotional than men because we know there's an exception to every rule.
My
With that
teacher
being
know the
the
difference. Trey.
yeah, that's why that dude, you know what I'm saying, collecting unemployment right now, Mikey. But but just if you're dealing with a female who is one who's a tad bit more emotional, you're gonna have to be able to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to making her happy. Devon gave a great example of I don't really want to walk around the mall. I think for me, I'm the type I go directly to the store directly where I need to go. And if I don't see what I need, I'm gonna bust up. I'm not browsing. That's just me. Also, if it's a big game or something going on, I really want to watch it in peace. That may not happen because part of the happiness may be your girl wanting to sit there and watch it because she just want to be close to you, asking you questions like, "So what type of shot was that?" That's called a free throw. You explaining stuff like that, but that's making her happy. It may not make you happy, but it's making her happy. But there's a fine line. You said this also, Devon. You can't be a pushover and just give in to everything they want to do. Because in a very twisted and contorted way, they won't respect you if you just give in to everything.
Yep.
I surely believe they do things intentionally to see what your response is going to be, and will respect you if you're able to articulate with some level of strength that nah, we're not gonna do this because of X, Y, and Z, and stand on your word. So you just have to be with a person. And I think the overarching thing is have something in common that both of y'all believe in and will strive in together. That's the longevity, and then you got to be able to be flexible and become more knowledgeable in how to keep them happy. That's just me.
All right. What about compromising? Does that play a role? Cause y'all two married. I'm not.
That's the part of the flexibility.
Okay. I'm not like
That's the part of the
I haven't took
flexibility.
that sentence. I haven't took that life sentence yet.
Yeah. But that's part of the flexibility. You have to compromise on some things, but there's some things you cannot afford to compromise on. You can't.
Okay. So yeah. Since I got a lot of female subscribers, I want y'all to say what like what y'all think. How do y'all think? What do y'all do to keep a guy happy? I want to hear it in the comment. I want to see it in the comment section. Go ahead. Like what y'all take on it? And yeah, all right. This is a real good question right here, Trey.
What was it?
I'd like to know from the ladies if we got some of them comments right. So,
Yeah,
ladies, if y'all comment down below, let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. Hey, do you like a dude that just say yes, 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 yes all the time? You know what I'm saying? Give us some feedback.
Yeah. Do you like a submissive guy? Do you like a submissive guy, or do you like a out, or do you like a dominant guy? Do you like an alpha? Do you like a beta?
I think they want something in between, but we'll see what they
Yeah.
say.
Uh, I guess, man. Sometimes I don't even know what these women want. But all right, let me stop before I get in trouble.
Yeah,
But
we want to keep your followers, man. Let's keep going, brother.
Right, right.
all right, if what I said right there, now this might lose some followers, but we're gonna answer it because we risky. What are some red flags to watch out for if you're trying to find a good woman? And I noticed Tony commented on here. He always found himself in the channel. Um, if she looking for attention through social media, agreed. So yeah, what are some red flags to watch out for when it comes to a woman?
Um, like you gotta find those crazy signs out first. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see how crazy is she. You know what I'm saying? That's the first step. You gotta see if she's just a little crazy or she crazy or she just she crazy for real. Like you gotta find that out first. You know what I'm saying?
And if
Like
bleach is her go-to weapon, don't go to.
I mean, like you would know those aspects. You know what I'm saying? Like if she constantly like, oh, who you talking to? Um, like can I get your little pen for your phone and stuff? Those type of things, you know what I'm saying, you kind of want to stay away from. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing worse than having insecurity in your relationship, both man and woman. You know what I'm saying? If you have to always like keep looking and seeing what that person is doing on their phones and stuff, or where they're constantly at, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you want to just stay away from that.
Yeah. That goes back to women with trust issues. So I dealt with them, and I don't. I can. I do not like dealing with women like that for some reason. Also,
Also, I'm sorry, Mick, but
go ahead.
uh, you got to see how they spend the money. You got to see how wise they are with their finances. You know what I'm saying? If they always, you know what I'm saying, spending, 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 you know what I'm saying, not saving, saving, just as much as they spending, you kind of want to see they spending habits because at the end of the day, like real spit, like finance is probably like one of the leading uh home wreckers, you know what I'm saying, out there. You know what I'm saying? Not having enough finances or somebody's overspending or bad budgeting and things of that nature, that joint will wreck a home faster than it would, being dishonest.
That's absolutely correct. The data actually shows that more divorces occur because of financial problems than infidelity. So
Yeah.
that speaks volumes right there. I think if you're talking about red flags, that will go back also to cultural. the perspective of the person. But I would definitely say, I mean, I think safety is one concern of everyone in a relationship. So looking to see how people respond to confrontation or bad news and things of that nature is very important. If you got somebody that want to put hands on you or throw things at you or do something to your belongings, you know, throw your stuff out the window, try to cut up your clothes, you can't dismiss that. You can't. That needs to be addressed. And
Yeah.
I know brothers right now resting in peace who did not address situations like that. I mean, it ended up costing these brothers their life. And I think also you got to pay attention to just that faithfulness. You talked about trust. You got to look at the fidelity thing. You know, we talking about a relationship. Now, I go back to cultural because if you out there doing your thing and you really don't care, then that's on you. That's your perspective. But if you're looking for someone that's going to meet you halfway with the being faithful, you got to pay attention to the signs there. They always gone at obscure hours, or if you trying to contact them and you can't get in contact with them at certain times, especially on a consistent basis, you got to pay attention to stuff like that and address that. That's a red flag. If you can't call me on a Friday evening between 6 and 9 o'clock every week, something going on. I ain't saying you got to be with me, but if you can't get in contact with me during that time every week, hey, somebody got to pay attention to what's going on.
Also, I think another one is a woman that is super clingy, or a one, or pretty much that one that like attention seeker, someone that needs attention 2,000% of the time. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I mean that.
Oh, of course.
And super clingy, like, man.
Yeah.
And huh?
So Mikey, what's the red flag? Because they asking for red flags. So what's the red flags in your opinion of a woman being clingy?
Um, Pretty much someone that's just blowing up your phone pretty much every second of the day, almost to the point where it's almost like she don't have a life of her own. Someone that needs it's like instant gratification every time. That's kind of like what I mean.
Man, but sometimes you just gotta be careful what you wish for because shoot, when they don't call, and then you looking at your phone like, dang, she ain't calling me today. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
gotta.
not just that, but you know, like you like sometimes like you don't have to speak to someone every second of the day, you know, because eventually eventually it will get old really quick.
And
Like
then
Chris,
some. Go ahead.
huh? Like
All I
Chris
was
Rock.
ready to say. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go.
All
I'm
right,
listening.
Chris Rock said. Chris Rock pretty much said on one of his stand-ups, like his parents been married for 50 years, and his ex-wife been married um for 20 years, and he said his 20 years is is way more than his married years because they didn't have social media. Pretty much they were always in communication, but back in with her parents relationship, her the father pretty much was absent because of work and stuff like that. So pretty much the only time she would see him is like when he get off of work. Like, what I think what he meant is like sometimes it's okay to like not talk every second of the day. You know?
Gotcha.
But what you was about to say, Trey?
Nah. Just when we talk about red flags, I think that's distinct to the person. I think there's some universal things, but some people may like what we call clingy. It may be a good thing in their psyche because maybe they did have to deal with that female that was cheating on them.
Yeah.
So since we didn't really have to deal with that, this is clingy. She's always calling and bothering me. But for that person, that's cool. That's a sign of that's a reassuring sign that this person's into me and willing to devote their energy and time to me. So some of these things are, are still going to be very important. I'm speaking to the audience now because when they ask these questions, think about their own personal perspective on what they want from a relationship. I just feel like that finance and definitely the safety has to be at the forefront of any relationship.
And those are just habits that not, I would say 8 out of 10 that they not gonna break. Like if they constantly
Mm-hmm.
spending money, they gonna spend money throughout the duration of the relationship. If they
Yeah.
always arguing and fighting, they gonna always be arguing and fighting throughout the duration of the relationship. Those are characteristics that really is hard to break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes being clingy um, is not bad in the eyes of the person that's looking into it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody when somebody is calling constantly, that other person be like, man, that makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like some people would take that as like, yeah, they into me, and knowing that they're into me, you know what I'm saying, give me the gratification of like, hey, I'm doing a good job, or you know what I'm saying, this gonna be the one or whatever. But the other attributes of, also like here go another one, pay attention to see how they conduct, how if they always, if you go to their house and it's clean, you know what I'm saying? Those are red flags. Like if you see a dirty house, you know what I'm saying, and they know that you're coming over to visit, you know what I'm saying? First impression is the last impression. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that you watch out for. Those, like, you already know what you want out of the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to those details. If you know you have a vision that you want to get a house, you know what I'm saying, or the woman or the male is constantly spending money, hey, they might not be on the same vision as you. So
And that's why it's important to find those things out early because a lot of times two things take place before you really get a great report card or assessment of this person that you want to spend your life with. You either marry them first or children come first. So now there's an attachment to this person, regardless if there was a divorce or however it goes, there's an attachment to this person, and y'all really wasn't even on the same level. I mean, y'all really wasn't on the same page. So it's important to see that stuff. Very important to pay attention to it. One last thing I'm gonna add. The one last thing I'm gonna add is what I found clingy at 20 may not be the same thing as clingy at the age of 40. I may like Mikey, that young lady calling me all the time. At 20, I'm cool. At 40, I'm like, look, I've not even been in relationships. I don't need nobody calling and bothering me like that.
Yeah, that's how I am now.
So, I mean, it's different for everybody, but I just think look at those main things and spend time and find out about these main things so a person have a good idea of what they want in a relationship.
Yeah.
One of my friends told me this. A relationship is who we choose. We can't choose family. We can't. We can't choose them. We can't choose them whatsoever. So, with that being the case, your relationship, you got to make sure that you put yourself in a position that you with the person you want to be with.
Okay, we got a couple more questions left. So hope that answer your question. So, but all right. But last time I asked about dating a girl with a different religion, pretty much dating different religions questions, and now we broke up. What advice would you give to me because I'm hurt and I want to know how to overcome a bad breakup?
So this
Oh,
is a young lady.
this is for
I'm sorry. This is a young lady that was dating somebody from a different religion.
No, this was
yeah.
the guy dating old
Remember,
girl.
Okay.
remember the last question we did when they was asking about they was in two different religions and they was always
Yeah.
arguing. We told you it wasn't gonna last. Shoot, flat out, we told you. Hey, we seen that coming before you was born. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, man, you can't. It's hard to change people. People are set in their ways, you know. So I would advise you: don't be sad. Take this as a learning experience because eventually down the road you're gonna find somebody else that might try, or you might be put in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? So take this as a learning experience. You know, don't go back into the past like we talked about the other topics. Now you use this for your future experience. So that would be my advice, man. Just don't be sad about it, you know, because hey, there's plenty of women in this world. That's one thing for sure. Women outnumber us men. So she wasn't the one for you. You can't be mad at something that wasn't meant for you. You just can't be. So she was just yours for that moment, but she wasn't meant for you for eternity.
And to piggyback off of what you just said, I hope the individual, if he's listening, understands you gotta be able to. Life is an ebb. It's a ebb and flow of some highs and some lows. That's going to be life. And if they haven't been on this earth that long, I definitely can empathize with that person that this is probably very big to them. 15, 20 years from now, they'll probably look at it different. But you have to be able to look at every interaction, major interactions especially, and learn from it. It doesn't mean it has to be negative, but you got to learn from it. This turned out to be something that's hurt this individual. Now they have to be able to say, what happened for this relationship to go this way? Oh, we kept beefing over our beliefs. Well, it's obvious that next time I need to align myself with someone that got some beliefs similar to mine. Everything don't have to be the same, but hey, our beliefs, our main core beliefs that make up our character have to be somewhat similar. And I always think about this in the sports world where they say you learn more from a loss than you ever will from a win. You will. You're going to learn more from a loss because you'll be able to assess that, hey, this wasn't a pleasurable or the best situation didn't occur. Why? Okay, because I didn't play my best defense. I didn't box out. I didn't communicate. I'm just giving an example. I hope this individual, if they listening, take it that way. Just go back and analyze, and believe it or not, there will be someone else that's going to catch your eye. You caught their eye, and you'll be in a position where y'all will communicate and see if y'all want to take it to the next level. It's going to happen. And it's all right to feel bad right now, but you got to learn to process it and get past it. And the main thing is to improve and not make the same mistake twice. Albert Einstein said it this way: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Don't become that definition of insanity.
Right. And also, I'm gonna add to this. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, that you're a lot younger than Trey and myself. So if that's the case, I really do recommend that you enjoy life first. You know what I'm saying? When I say enjoy life, finishing up your education if you haven't already done so, getting your career established if you haven't already done so, you know, making sure that you having your finance in line if you haven't done so, you know, getting you to the level where you want to be first. Because trust and believe, if you're not together first, you bringing in another person is not going to help the situation if you're not established and you're not together within yourself. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, honestly, I would take this as a blessing and do some soul searching and just enjoy you because you're going to have your years to find that significant other, but if you don't have yourself together first, you can't help nobody and you can't be in that relationship where now it's two people and you haven't done what you need to do for yourself.
And that's so true. And my last statement on the on this topic would be: you'll find yourself right back in a similar situation if you don't take that time to invest in yourself. That's all that could happen is you end up making that same mistake over and over because you really ain't take time to build and improve yourself. So very good advice, Devon. Hey,
Hey,
live your life.
we done gained this experience. So you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying. You know how your parents told you, hey, you ain't doing nothing that I haven't already done.
there you go.
You know what I'm saying? It's true spit, man. It's true spit.
Yeah.
Like for real. Go ahead, Nick. Bring us home, Nick.
All right, last question.
Oh, I thought you was gonna put your 2 cents in, man.
Already
Yeah,
did.
oh, you got to put yours in, Mike. Hey, you got to give it that whole. Hey, it's a rainbow. We want to hear from the youngsters too.
All right.
He don't sound too thrilled.
All right. Look, man. Don't look at it as a loss. Like, like it wasn't meant to be. We told you this in the begin in the first Q&A that we did. I want to say a couple of months ago. So it wasn't meant to be. However, you want to find the one that's for you. You might not be today, it might not be tomorrow. But if you're heartbroken right now, I mean, just start focusing on yourself. Like, build yourself up. Like, focus on you with your career, um, or just I don't know how old you are with school. Just focus on you. I'm a better version of you. So yeah, that's my advice. How is
And
that?
that boy sound like his daddy, ain't
Yep.
he? That boy sound like his. I'm the pappy. I'm the pappy. All right, man. Let's go, man.
We just dancing with you, man. What's the last one? What's the last question?
The last question. This might be the crazy question that you was talking about. Smash, Mary, kill. Is that the one?
Yeah, yeah. I told you that's the younger person with the hormones racing.
Oh, his name is HBA Kid 30. Yeah, maybe. All right. So Scarlett Johansson, Megan Fox, or Iggy Azalea? Is Iggy Azalea even making music now?
I don't think
I,
so. Who?
I,
I meant to look it up. I'm sorry, fellas. Who's Megan Fox?
She
Hey,
was, but she was old girl in the Transformers movies.
hey, I don't know
Hello?
why when I heard what. Hello.
I don't know who she is.
Hey,
She was
I
in a
ain't gonna lie.
business. Which one?
I
She
think I
was,
just
I see
seen
what
Fox and I thought it was the other Fox.
Yeah, I ain't no black
Like,
women on here though, man.
yeah, like I literally had to
you
like
did.
look up these ladies and after looking them up,
Oh, hey, I don't know what happened. I was out for a minute.
You
uh
good? Good.
yeah, so I was telling Mick that I never heard of none of these. I think I might have heard of the Iggy person, but I had to
Iggy
go on
Azalea.
Google. I had to go on Google and do like a little image of these three ladies, and none of them really uh bats the eye of me. I think the only one that I might even consider would probably be the Izzy. That's just because of
Pronounce
the
her
pictures,
name, man.
huh?
You can't even pronounce her name, man.
Iggy,
I
Izzy,
mean,
Iggy.
he don't really fool with her like that. And I don't really think she put music out. I got the twins with me. I just verified for them, from them. She ain't putting music out like that now.
That's
We
what I
don't
She
get
said.
put
Fox.
She
music.
not even. She ride along with Kelly Rowland.
Oh, there you go. Hey, she done had a career, but I do know who Megan Fox is. She was in Transformers. She
Yeah.
was the first young lady in. I saw. All right, I know who she is, and I know who Scarlett
See,
Johansson is.
see,
This
I
ain't
ain't
even
seen
all.
Transformers, so I don't know who's. See, I
This the
told y'all,
old.
man.
Nah, this the Mikey. This was the first two she was in, right? Or was it just the first one?
Man,
I think just the
you
first.
really
I know she
like
was in the first one.
talking about garbage movies, man. Them Transformers ones. But yeah, she was in the first one.
That's only because you don't understand. It's kind of like that's what they're gonna tell you about Marvel. Trust me, they're gonna say that about MCU. Trust me.
I
Hey,
understand
it's a generational thing.
storyteller.
Huh?
I storyteller. And then Michael Bay is not a good. I do not like his directing. Like it's too many camera cuts, man. Horrible, man.
See, see,
So
that
so
just
you're not a so you're not a Bad Boy fan then. That's what you're telling me.
Um, I like Bad Boys 3 is the best Bad Boys movie.
Because he didn't do it.
No,
That's
not
what I'm saying.
that. I
No,
actually thought
he didn't direct the last Bad Boys.
I know, but I think Bad Boys 3 had a better story. Bad Boys 1 and 2, they were just like your assembly line action movies, man. It was fine. I wouldn't say it was like it's not even in my top 100, man.
so for the person that asked this question about the three young ladies, you could tell that none of us really know who these ladies are. And Trey and Mick, they done took the girl from the Transformers and then switched it to Bad Boys and started talking to. So, hey,
I know who
hey,
Scarlett Johansson is. She Black Widow, and
Yeah,
she I love Scarlett Johansson.
she's like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah,
She
she too
do. I
skinny.
mean, she's like a little. I mean, she's like a little schoolgirl. Megan Fox, they had her looking nice in Transformers, but nothing over the top. I'm not really. There ain't none of them really.
Man.
Whoa, not knocked down for me. So I'm sorry, I can't really even give an honest analysis of who is
yeah,
the most
we
attractive to
gotta
me.
come up, with some better names next time, fellas. You know, if you trying to get us to smash some people, look, come on, man. I don't
They
know
can,
what you be doing with your thing, but shoot, you know what I
Hey,
mean? Like, shoot,
yeah, that was
hey,
woo. Woo.
man,
like
you just gave
they,
us
they cute
some
too.
bad pickings.
Yeah.
All right, at least the first one. Like I think he asked the same question last time, but with Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, and what's her name?
Probably did.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that line was
yeah.
better
So
then. I
he
don't know
just
what this is.
Yeah, he just on some smash. He just wants some buns out there. That's
Hey,
all he thinking about.
I told you though, it's a younger cat with the hormones raging.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
So so the only one I'm probably gonna answer. I'm just going off what I seen on Google and just the images. I say out of all the three, if I had to smash, it'd be the Izzy, the Iggy, whoever that one is.
Oh, Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just off of what I seen the image on Google. Like the other two, like they didn't have no kind of images that I seen that was like, oh yeah, she tight, she
So,
tight like a tiger, tight like a tiger.
I hear you.
but they too skinny for me. I don't got enough milk to make a cup of coffee, and I'm straight. So yeah,
That,
huh?
nah, that's the last question.
Yeah, that was the last question. So yeah, that will do it for this Q&A, guys. Leave that like button. Thank you for 100 over 100 subscribers. We'll do something special at 500 subscribers. So yeah, we got less than 400 subscribers to go. Also, stay tuned for there's nothing new under the sun. The segment that Trey is bringing onto the channel, where he talks about how pretty much history repeats itself, right?
Yep, I'll give y'all a preview. It'll be very entertaining. It's not just a dive into things that happened 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago. We're gonna talk about what's going on now, if it happened in the past, and how it relates. So,
Yeah.
all right.
And also, that with the intimate aroma.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, in the comment section,
Hello, can I
fellas,
get
ladies,
number
you know,
6, large size,
tell
a
you
Sprite
what,
and a
get up, boy.
classic berry Sprite to drink. Uh, one with
Ah,
one with ranch and one with ranch and another
hey,
one what? Sweet and sour. And that's it.
hey, y'all know black
Okay,
folks
so those
got ranch,
1609
boy.
at the second window. Well,
yeah, we will. We're gonna
Hey, for real.
hey, for real.
In the comments, in the comment section, let me know what y'all favorite fragrance are. What y'all wearing? You know what I'm saying, ladies? What do you like your dudes to smell like? What cologne smell? What colognes do you like to smell? What perfumes do you like to wear? Leave that in the comment section, y'all.
Yeah, guys, that'll do it for this video. We're gonna end this video before Trey get his food, and yeah,
I
we
wish it
out.
was. I wish it was for me. I told you what I had to do, man. But yeah, you just gotta edit that part out.
No, it's straight, man. I want to keep it at, man. It adds comedy.
Hey,
No
now
doubt.
this let y'all know, man. We don't be on no scripts. We don't be
No.
looking at no papers. You know what I'm saying? Whatever come, it just come. You know what I'm saying? We ain't care. We
Yeah.
just real with this joint, man.
Right. This is raw. This is raw footage, man. This is raw audio, man. Yeah,
That's what the people want. The people want it real.
yep,
They just make sure they hit that like button and subscribe.
yeah. Hit that
Yep.
like
Keep it
button.
up. Keep it up.
Yep. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. An hour and 50 minutes. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. We're out. Mike's Variety Show. It's nothing new under the sun. Also, the history of movies is going to keep up. The history of the pro wrestling, time travel. Also, an in-depth character study on different characters in different movies and televisions. All that is coming up in the future. So we'll see y'all. Well, y'all see us when y'all see us. Peace out.